is India MacDonald. I'm 19 and I'm from a very small town called Goongerah, which is in the Australian state of Victoria. I shared some of the footage I captured while defending my home from the bushfires on December 30th, 2019. And if you haven't already seen some of that, then here it is.
The hose is bad! Ow! Fuck!
The reason I shared that was purely to show others how bad being in a bushfire is, especially since the fire season was yet to continue, and I hoped it would open others' eyes on how severe the situation was. And I had many people thank me for doing that, as it helped them to decide to leave. I didn't share the footage to get attention, sympathy, or my 15 minutes of fame, or whatever else people may think. I like helping people, and I know that I have done that. But what sucks is that I went from defending my home to defending myself. And unless you know me, my father, all the things we did to prepare, what our property looks like, and how our night played out exactly, then don't assume things about us. Because no one else was there except my father and I, and we are the only people who actually know how safe, prepared, and lucky we were. So, before the fires hit us, my community was told to evacuate, and lots of people did, including my 2 younger sisters and mum. They decided to evacuate to our other house, 80 kilometres away in a larger town because they didn't want to risk it. And the interesting thing is that after the fire went through Goongerah, the town they were in was then under threat. I think something that a lot of people don't understand is that I chose to stay. I did. I made the decision to stay and defend my home my family and friends built with their own hands to save the house I grew up in. I am 19. I can make my own decisions. And no, I didn't have any official firefighting training, and I've never really used a fire hose before. But I knew I was capable, I knew I was fit, I knew I could control my fear, and I knew if I couldn't, I could retreat to our fire bunker. I made the decision to stay pretty easily, largely because of our safe underground fire bunker right near the house. It had food, water, and first aid in it. And secondly, I felt comfortable staying because I knew my father was capable and prepared. He defended our house 5 years ago. He saved the house in 2014, all by himself, and he managed really well and wasn't harmed. He is in fact a CFA member, and has been for many, many years. And for those who don't know what that stands for, it's Country Fire Authority. And the thing is, when you live in such a remote town where there are no shops at all, or any authority figures there 24/7, we all know the risk. And most of my community are also CFA members. We are our own firefighters. No one else is going to protect us, so we've learned to do it ourselves. And people are quite capable of such things, regardless if you have a badge or a diploma. If you have the knowledge, you have the right to choose to stay and not get harassed about it. For the whole week leading up to the fires, we kept checking the wind patterns online and keeping a close eye on the fire's movements. For a while it seemed like we might have been in the clear, and as it turned out we weren't, but we weren't naive about that. Our preparation began with laying out all our gear so it was easily accessible. Fire suits, goggles, masks, headgear, gloves, boots, etc. We had 2 tanks that hold 22,000 litres of water, and a third tank that holds 7,000. And on top of that, my dad had a fire cart he made, which is a 1,000-litre tank on a small trailer hooked up to a pump and a long hose. This was a great thing to have since it was easy to transport. My dad made sure we had enough fire hoses and showed me how it all worked. On Monday, the 30th of December, the whole day we were watching the sky fill up with smoke.
It's so much smokier over there, obviously, because some fires are over there. What is it?
It's a bit tasty. It's a wattle leaf, which don't burn that easily.
and soon enough the mountain range in front of us had caught on fire. It was around 6:30 p.m. when the winds blew the fire right to our house.
Yeah. The wind's blowing. Oh fuck mate, it's blowing in every direction right now.
We weren't chasing after the fire, trying to put it out. We were just protecting the house front and stopping the embers from igniting.
Turn it down!
Turn it down, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Ah.
It was really hard for a good hour because the winds were so strong. The smoke was so thick. My father and I barely saw each other for the first hour. There were a few moments when it got really bad and I thought we were going to lose the house. This is one of them. There was a tree at the front of the house that had caught on fire, and the wind was pushing the flames right against the side of our house. The reason there wasn't much water coming out of the fire hose in this scene is because the pump was still turned down. I got extremely worried when I took a look behind the house and realised that one of the structures behind there was on fire.
Oh my god.
I wasn't too sure if my father was already up there trying to put it out. I had to connect my canvas firefighting hose to a vinyl one to make it longer for me to go up and put out the fire.
Oh no! No. Fuck. Everything behind there is burnt. The chook house is burnt. Everything is burnt. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it was scary. But at the same time, it wasn't. Because I knew I had the right equipment and I knew that I could retreat if I wanted to. Something I never really talked about but got asked a bit was about my dog, Sumo. Sumo was with us during the fire, and for a lot of the night he just slept in the carport.
I just put Sumo inside with a bucket of water.
He is 14 years old, and we knew that he wasn't going to get scared and run off. That's why we felt safe enough to just keep him at the house. He was actually really good company, and he brightened up the rest of our week being trapped in Goongerah.
the cubby houses, and there's a car right there. Oh, what the? Yes!
Yeah, turn the pump up, please. Oh, good deal.
Yeah, there's a fire in there.
Just about out.
Yeah, I know. I just like my. It's just.
Can you turn the pressure pump off, darling?
Alright, it's about 4 a.m. and it's a bit hard to sleep in the smoke and just a constant falling of trees. I don't know if that's any better.
Overall, I don't think I felt too scared. I think the adrenaline kicked in and I knew I needed to be strong to save my home.
It's really hard to tell what time it would be.
It was one of the best feelings waking up the next day. Even though I had a sore throat, I couldn't have been any more happier about saving my home, about being there with my dad. Because in our community, 10 houses were lost, and I just couldn't imagine losing my home. And my heart goes out to anyone who has also lost their property or a loved one. It is a really shit thing. I have received a lot of questions, and hopefully I am able to answer them. After the fire had gone through, it damaged the roads and surrounding areas very, very badly. The roads were covered in trees and we were unable to escape our town. We were stuck there for a week before my dad, uncle, grandfather and a friend made the decision to cut trees off the 80 kilometres stretch to our family. It would usually take us 1 hour to drive between our houses, but with the amount of trees on the road, it took us 8 hours to get through. Leaving your town after a fire is not something I recommend, but both my father and uncle were both arborists for a very long time, and we knew if we were to stay, we'd be staying there for weeks and weeks with no power, no clean water, and no one going to help us anytime soon, because so many other towns were affected, larger towns which were more of a priority than Goongerah. It's been 2.5 months since the fires went through, and I've actually been doing really good. The reason it's taken me so long to get this video together is just because I've been working full time, and I don't really want to have to keep talking about the fires and looking at my footage over and over and over again. I hope this helps you understand a bit more of what my situation was like and of what I went through. Some questions that I've been asked a lot is if I think this has traumatized me in any way. And I would have to say no. I honestly feel pretty freaking good. I think I've been really resilient, and I guess I've just had so much love and support around me. I think I'm not traumatized by it because I know what I did was amazing, and just because I went through something like this does not mean I think that I am now invincible. I really don't want to have to do that again, but in saying that, in the future when the fire season is looking really bad, I will be up at my house preparing again with my father, And after going through this, I now know how to prepare better, and I would really like to extend my knowledge on fires and what it means to be stuck in one. We did get a bit of rain a few days after the fires, but it really wasn't that much. Like I said before, it's been over 2 months since the fires, and we've actually gone from everything burning to everything flooding, which is bizarre, but the world is a pretty crazy place. I've been asked a lot about climate change and how I think that this is going to affect my future. And honestly, I don't really want to talk about climate change. I don't really want to talk about this anymore, actually. It's taken me so long to get this video together, and it's kind of been a bit of a chore. I hope this is good enough. You can leave any questions in the comments and I will try my best to answer them. But if you have anything negative to say, just keep it to yourself. I know some people just can't get over their opinions, but if you look at the footage I just shared and the message I'm trying to send to you, please know that I'm not trying to encourage anyone to do what I did. And it's not that hard to be a decent human being and just be nice.
Just to know how my little girl here performed throughout all that is something I'll be forever proud of. I think we've experienced something together that will make a special bond between the two of us for a long time. There's no doubt about it. Yeah.